Well, the January 6th House Select Committee had almost 19 million people tuning into those hearings on Thursday night, and it's set to resume those public hearings on Monday. For more on this, we're joined by the president and CEO of the Foundation for Democracy in Iran, Ken Timmerman. Ken, this was obviously being promoted heavily by members of the House Select Committee. They wouldn't say if there would be any new bombshells that we would discover. What were your takeaways from Thursday night's hearing, and where do you think the committee's going with this?
Well, I think, first of all, this whole process is a disgrace, and it's like a Stalin show trial. Remember, in the 1930s, Stalin held show trials in Moscow of his political opponents. At that time, they were the Trotskyists, and he had two major goals. And I think the committee has exactly those same two goals today, starting with that woman right there, Liz Cheney. The first is to intimidate Donald Trump and his followers, and you saw what they did to members of the White House. Peter Navarro, they pulled him off of an aircraft, they shackled him, put him in leg irons. I mean, absolutely disgraceful. He had been discussing with the FBI how to testify while upholding the executive privilege that he was bound by. So intimidation is the first thing. You saw that in the eyes of Ivanka Trump, a deer in the headlights. The second thing is also to deflect. They want to deflect our attention, to distract us from what's going on, from what is really going on, because the Democrats know what happened in November 2020. They know that they stole the election. They know how they stole the election. And every time someone on the other side, a Trump supporter, a Republican, an independent, starts to point their finger at what actually happened, they say, no, this is the big lie. This is unproven. These are, lies being put out, disinformation.
Yeah. Well, I just want to clarify one thing. Newsmax does certify the results of the 2020 election. And I think, especially given the testimony that you heard in the January 6th hearing, one thing is for certain, that was something that was confirmed by the former Attorney General Bill Barr and also the former president's daughter, Ivanka Trump, saying that they accepted the election results. I think going back to the stated purpose of these hearings, Democrats want to say that Trump incited the mob that day. But when you watch this video, this seems more of an indictment on the rioters and seeing the Capitol Police outnumbered. We did hear testimony from the Capitol Hill Police certainly saying that, this was a war scene. So, I mean, that is one of the criticisms here, is that this hasn't focused on why the Capitol wasn't prepared for an attack like this.
Well, you're right about that, but it was not a war scene. And that pathetic testimony by the female Capitol Police officer, really, this is something that was dreamed up in Hollywood. She had rehearsed it and rehearsed it. You could tell that. She admitted, by the way, after saying it was a war scene, well, I've never had any military training. Look, I've been in war scenes. I've been in the middle as a war correspondent, including for Newsmax.
Ken, I just have to say this. I don't want to diminish what this Capitol Police officer went through, because I saw the video of her literally being pushed to the ground and getting knocked unconscious. And the woman, but the woman got back up after that, and she went and did her job. So I think that, I think we have to stay the course with condemning that this was an ugly event that took place. This
was a riot. It was like the Antifa riots that we saw all during the summer of 2020, and you do not see the Democrats paying any attention to those. They don't acknowledge that those were far more violent than what happened in the Capitol. And by the way, I think there's some real basic questions about what happened. Ray Epps, who was Ray Epps? What was he doing leading the charge? How come he has never been arrested? Is he an FBI informant? There are members of Congress who have asked that question that has never been asked by the January 6th committee. Look, here's the thing. We have three pieces of evidence now that are circulating that are driving the Democrats absolutely crazy. The first is a movie by Dave Bossie, Citizens United, called Rigged. It's about the $450 million that Mark
Unfortunately, we're going to have to
spent.
leave it there. That's all the time that we have. Ken, we appreciate you being with us, Ken Timmerman. And again, we just want to make it clear to our viewers that Newsmax does stand by the certification of President Biden's victory in the 2020 election.